It all began with an unexpected scene. After witnessing something that took his breath away, he decided to do nothing, at least not immediately. He thought it best to address the issue the next day, but that night felt eternal. Hours passed, and the only thing he could hear was the echo of his thoughts. The next morning arrived, and as he went down for breakfast, he was about to tell her the truth. But something in the air, something in her gaze that morning, made him hesitate. How could he tell her what he had seen? The scene from the previous night still lingered in his mind. But in the end, a spark of inspiration led him to an idea that would change everything. Without thinking, he suggested a dinner. "Go change," he said. She accepted without questioning it. Once in the car, she, unaware of what awaited her, asked, "Where are we going?" And that, unknowingly, was the beginning of her downfall. Jackson, with a cold calmness, replied, "How about Jibum's house? So you can kiss him in front of me." What followed was an emotional clash, not only the one they were about to experience, but a physical one as well. The fight in the car was so intense that Jackson couldn't control his nerves. He pressed the accelerator without thinking, and in an instant, everything crumbled. The car veered off, and the impact was fatal. The person in the passenger seat, Serena, was no longer breathing. Jackson took a few seconds to comprehend what had happened. He called emergency services, crying, desperate. But it was already too late. When the paramedics arrived, they could only attend to him, who was taken to the hospital for a checkup. Meanwhile, Jae-bum, oblivious to everything, tried to locate Serena, worried, but his attempts were in vain. It wasn't until later that he received the devastating news. Serena had died in a car accident. The next day, the funeral. Jae-bum and Jackson faced each other. Both knew that something had changed forever. After the solemn act, the tension exploded. Fights, insults, punches, but in the end, both were exhausted, lying on the ground. It was then that they realized that, despite everything, she had played with both, but both loved her. Jae-bum, defeated, lowered his head and walked away, returning home. Meanwhile, Jackson, with a heavy conscience, went back to Serena's grave, asking for forgiveness for what had happened.